A Hairier problem. Rise of the Furball. A blue bastard. Chapter 29. Cracks in the foundation. Raspberry Barrel was, unsurprisingly, nervous. It seemed to be one of her default stares these days, though. After the roller coaster that had been her life in the past week or two, she couldn't be blamed for it. This time, simply trying to divert her attention from herself so that she could fade back into obscurity was no longer an option. After all, no matter how hard she tried to live a normal life, every pony would know of her station. She was the last of an old royal bloodline, one close enough to the original royal lineage that she had a claim to the title of princess more than any pony of royal blood, but not graced with both wings and a horn. Instead, she was the bearer of the strongest dark magic in the country, maybe even the world, because of how depraved her ancestor had been, having been handicapped by her father such that her heritage was the only way she could use magic at all. She knew there were ponies who would never trust her, and would protest the fact that she was joining a group as hallowed as the equestrian princesses, the only one without the ability to fly. "Ross, my dear, are you quite all right?" came the voice of Rarity, soon followed by the alabaster unicorn had decided the princess to be. The day before, the remaining elements from Ponyville were brought to the Empire due to their importance about the affairs of Princess Twilight Sparkle, the role they had played in stopping Sombra's brief return. "Other than trying to understand why any of this is happening, I'm just perfect." Rarity shook her head. "Honestly, Raspberry, you're living the dream every little fairy wants to achieve. Not every pony can be a princess. It's going to look weird with you giving that speech while shaking as if you're freezing. Plus, Twilight wasn't too keen on the idea either, but she's taken to being a princess like a duck to water." "Twilight also earned her princesshood," reminded Raspberry. "I've done nothing like her to deserve being known as one of that title. Not to mention the reasons why I'm going to be it anyway are far from being of personal achievement. While true, I'd like to point out that purely on the basis of who you are, you deserve being part of royalty far more than some boor like Prince Blueblood, who's always claiming to be the 30-so times removed nephew of Celestia. You saved lives, and respect to your power, it's enough to trump even the combined might of 4 alicorns simultaneously. But that just means I'm being made a princess on the grounds of might makes right, doesn't it?" "Sort of, I'll give you that. But it'll also make ponies listen to you as one who would dare disrespect a princess. So much trouble could have been avoided if you had been able to speak your piece. Now, as princess, you'll be able to. And ponies who still doubt that you are a good pony will see that perceptions of you are wrong, not magic or no. Not to mention you have a phoenix for a pet of such rarity, no pun intended, of course, that even Celestia cannot claim to have." Theodore, who had been silently observing and having ended up staring off into space, so he twisted to life as an indirect reference to this person. "I guess you're right, Rarity," said Raspberry. "Maybe I just need to stop looking at things like a half-empty cup." "Oh, don't be silly, dear. The cup's not half-empty anymore." Rarity then motioned for Raspberry to follow her out of the room. Heliodor promptly followed by pressing his usual place on Raspberry's horn. "Now it's half full. The amount of good fortune filling it only going to increase for you from here on. Now come. The others are waiting for you to accept your title, Your Highness." As the sun shone upon the gathered ponies, the long-lost crystal imperial line of royalty saw itself to be restored to its rightful place as a recognized branch of the equestrian blood. While the means of how this had come to be were regrettable, Celestia was pleased to see the crystal ponies, whose memory still had the terror of being under Sombra's hoof, be generally quite open about the idea of recognizing another dark magic using royal to be of a station where they would be ruled by that individual. Of course, the confidence extruded by the alicorns and the elements who were present in regards to Raspberry probably helped. As did the eagerness with which the Phoenix brandishing unicorn presented herself towards the ponies who had suffered under her predecessor. Celestia had to smile at that. Even though Sombra had been powerful, one of his greatest shortcomings was a total lack of charisma. The Sun Princess herself would admit it, but even she had once been nervous to speak in front of the citizens of her country. Granted, Queen Phallus had been there to give a guiding hoof to both her daughters in public oratory experience, invaluable when the elder Alicorn was forced to abdicate her teenage daughters. "But why did Mom hide the truth from us what theoretically a discord now?" wondered the matriarch. The only visible cure externally to her troubled mindset being in her silent smile, faltering a micro glow in a usual split second. Elsie wondered her mother's internal admission of this fact. The most haunting words of the scroll held by Discord echoed Celestia's head. I'm not reading this! Refuse! On the grounds that I cannot pronunciate it, I am not going to read this. So, no! Discord had said his role in the prophecy had been already fulfilled, though it left his role in the lead up to Raspberry's trial more accessible than ever. Celestia cared not to dwell on that anymore. It was the past, with the future lying in jeopardy. Raspberry, for as much trouble she endured for being just who she was going to be tested as hard as Twilight had been back when the Crystal Empire had returned from its 1,000-year absence. Except then, Twilight had only succeeded because she had strong friends to fall back on, especially that of Spike, that had been instrumental to stalling Sombra long enough to defeat him. But Raspberry was only just starting to develop her deep friendship with those same ponies, while her magic was as strong as Twilight's. This was an entirely new situation Celestia had not dealt with. After all, as far as Celestia knew, one of the few legends that she had not to personally handle involved the living dead in any fashion. So what could possibly be walking right into couldn't be classified as something Celestia could handle, as had been the case with Sombra. And yet, if she truly is of Sombra's blood, thought Celestia, hopefully she inherited a few good qualities that beast once had. King Sombra may have been an evil bastard, but on the grounds of the ruling qualities, its determination to overcome all challenges, its sheer force of will to achieve the impossible, and what made him a great ruler. Had he not gone crazy with crystals and stuff, of course. Here's hoping Raz will succeed where Sombra failed to live up to his own potential. They liked me. They really liked me, guessed Raspberry, overcome with happiness as the tears of the crystal ponies still rung in her ears. Heliodor, hearing the joy of his lifelong companion, was cawing happily, taking advantage of the high-vaulted ceilings within the Crystal Empire, to soar high and let out bursts of harmless emerald fire as he pleased. Well, how wouldn't I? Asked Applejack. I honestly think I have every right to be happy you're on the side of friendship and harmony and whatever else you saying. Yeah, gotta say it was awesome and all, but it kinda got cheesy during the middle bit, added Rainbow, hovering near usual. Give her a break, everybody, sighed Twilight courteously. Even after everything, it's still something to go out there and to speak to that many ponies like accepting the title of princess. Yeah, I don't think I could ever speak in front of that many ponies. At least not without you guys with me, confessed Fluttershy to the surprise of absolutely no pony. The camaraderie was instantly ended when the doors to the hall were quietly thrown open, with Shining rushing in while flanked by a pair of guard ponies on either side. Ladies, we have a situation, said the prince, entering another serious soldier mode. Why? What's happened? asked Rarity. Did something occur at Ponyville? Yeah. The local guard garrison reported that one of the fillies the crown had keeping an eye on, Miss Diamond Tiara, has just been listed missing only a few hours ago by her parents. Considering what she knows about this whole werewolf debacle, I don't doubt our mutual fair fist has something to do with it. What foul bastard would take such an innocent child like my diamond? Wild same dreams, her face burying the crook of filthy Rince's neck. I can't even fathom why anybody would want to hurt my baby. Royal Guardian, viewing the parents of Diamond Tiara, stopped scribbling, went to the pair with a raised eyebrow. Though when Mr. Ritz gave a look of please ignore my wife, I know damn well why somebody would want to take my daughter. Unicorn just went back to scribbling. Often, the ones who committed these kinds of crimes are individuals who are personal friends with the victim and or their families. Is there any planning to Ritz family and personally knows that's also dropped off the radar? Mr. Ritz shook his head. No, the only party my daughter ever really talked to, Silver Spoon, recently broke off their friendship due to some kind of conflicting interests. She was grounded and continuing to pursue some foolhardy crusade to prove another filly she doesn't like was a werewolf. Guard raised an eyebrow in skepticism. I'm sorry, did you say werewolf? Yeah, I know it's some satirist. My daughter's 10 years old. I do regret letting her have as much command over resources as she did. Probably also have done that anyway to be a better parent. Yet, I'm certain my daughter's disappearance has nothing to do with those blasted wolf ponies of legend. Thus then, the sound of the mansion's main door was heard. Mr. Rich didn't know it, but two of those blasted wolf ponies had walked in with the door along with two princesses and their entourage. "We came as soon as we heard," said Twilight, immediately establishing her presence as princess, while she only briefly allowed the guards and imagined to bow in respect. "Princess Twilight," inspired Champagne, "this is an unexpected honor. We usually thought that such minor issues would under the aegis of our princess." "Well, I don't like to say any pony's life being considered beneath my concern. Your daughter is some pony of relative importance to current affairs." "Current affairs?" asked Mr. Rich. "This doesn't have anything to do with that giant, ill-meaning prank my daughter tried to pull back on Nightmare Night, does it?" "It may, I'm afraid. We didn't mention it at the time, but we have come to believe that Diamond Tiara may have been working with somebody who desires to see the Apple family harmed in unusual ways." "I used to suggesting my daughter was kidnapped by some felon she may not have," angrily accused Champagne, for noticing two of the ponies had come in with the princesses were acting strangely. Applejack and some light cerulean pieces with two-tone orange mane were sniffing. "What are you two doing?" "Yeah, it's like you two have a cold or something," intoned Rainbow, trying to subtly inform the two werewolves their condition was starting to show in their behavior. "What? You guys don't smell that?" asked Lightning, oblivious to whatever Rainbow had been trying to say. "Granted, it's faint, but you don't need to be a dog or something to know scent mud. Especially there's something else in that mud that wasn't exactly mud," added Applejack. Almost immediately, everybody in the room became aware of the very out-of-place smell of the wilds within almost immediately cooling room. "Mrs. Jeans, when was the last time the maids cleaned house?" asked Rarity, trying not to gag. "Last night, before the occupants of our mansion were bedded for the evening. Richie insisted that servants not carry out their duties after the discovery of our daughter having been whisked away during the night. Though I think you best leave the crime scene investigation to the experts." "Like me?" smirked Raspberry, her horn suddenly lighting up with her dark aura. Heliodor still lined. Seeing the bird nonchalantly stand on a pyre set ablaze with magic normally associated with agony and torture, caused all ponies not familiar with the true nature of Raspberry's magic to reel back. "What are you doing to that poor bird?" shrieked Champagne, the ghastliness of overcoming the mare, thus making her fall dramatically to the forelegs of Mr. Ritz. "Show off," nickered Rarity. Mr. Ritz didn't notice the comment by the gray unicorn. Instead, looking apologetically at Raspberry. "You aren't really hurting that bird, are you?" "Who, Healy?" asked Raspberry, glancing up at her pet, then softly. "Nah, he's been doing that for years." Her tone suddenly became much more serious. "However, in addition to the outside elements we just become aware about, if I suspect is true, then there might be some unsavory things left behind from our suspect." Lily Ritz turned pale, losing strength in his not exactly unconscious wife, so he found himself plummeting a short distance to the ground. He didn't notice, his mind elsewhere as he wondered just what his daughter had been up to. "Don't tell me Tiara got mixed up with one of those dark magic-using Aconite scum." He was cut off by the majority of ponies suddenly giving him death glares. Raspberry, more frightening, Heliodor included. Not to say he considered as he tugged on his shirt collar and corrected himself. "I mean, those dark magic users are totally unlike you, Miss Barrel." Raspberry just rolled her eyes before giving Twilight a nod. Purple Alicorn acknowledged her attention in turn, being put forward to guard, who had just up to that point been irrelevant in the ongoing discussion. "Corporal, the matter I fear needs to be discussed with Mr. Rich and his wife is of a private and highly confidential nature, if you don't mind." "Of course, Your Highness," replied the guard, before promptly leaving through the door. At the same time, Raspberry and most of the Applejack and Dust were now following behind the bird-wearing unicorn. Oh, they knew not why. They soon got their answer, though. "It's impossible!" whispered Applejack to the other two ponies. Out of earshot, the group proceeded to inform Mr. Rich about the real events of past Nightmare Night. "What's impossible?" Such squeaky act spike out of nowhere. "You want to make a comment about Spike's uselessness, don't you?" "Totally do." "Well, what are you doing here? Is she supposed to be over with Twilight?" asked Lightning, having forgotten Spike had come with the group. "Good puller. So I came over to help you guys. even though I don't know what you're doing. Finding pieces of the Everfree, that's what, answered Raspberry, rotating up a leaf that was half covered in mud and hidden behind an end table, especially ones with traces of dark magic. This doesn't bode well. Now, how in tarnation can Fair Fist have tried this kind of stuff in here? He's a ghost! He's an Applejack. Unless he found a way to undie. Raspberry's features hardened, so he knew what needed to be done. He turned towards Twilight, finding the alicorn, looking somewhat awkward at having just told Filthy Ritz his daughter and been basically talking with ghost werewolves. Why, as bad as the situation is, we're going to need to resort to your specialty. Are you sure? Asked replied Twilight. Remember last time she tried tampering with dark magic and werewolves at the same time? Oh, don't worry. It's not your magic you'll need. It's your love for books. So, you sure you don't know what the deal is with how Diamond Tiara's missing? Asked Applebloom, for what had been the 100th time. No, I don't. So please stop asking. Replied Sandalwood, not too happy to be back in the position he was in. Well, it was nice to have paid leave from the spa for a little while, courtesy of royal intervention on part of Twilight Sparkle. Sandy would have preferred regular work as opposed to being brought into the secret that werewolves still existed. Wait, no. I think it might be the part where Applejack then reveals he was still a werewolf. Thought Sandalwood. Now here she was, laying on her back, turning out the apple truck under royal orders, getting it tuned up so it could be used in the event more werewolf hunting was needed. Figures Laura got to stay back at the flat and work on her car, though she did immediately build most of it before she brought me in on the project. But are you sure this thing can outrun a werewolf? I mean, it probably won't run out of Bloom, said Silver worryingly. Oh yeah, and that fun little bit too. Apple's face of Sandalwood. Like the last thing I did was to find out Applejack's sister was a werewolf too. At the rate things are going, soon spa customers will only be able to get aromatherapy treatments on Nightmare Night. With their host, Werewolf Sandalwood. I'd never be able to live it down. Also, what's with the Twilight standee and the track bed? Added Silver, finally nosy card-like sparkle. Nobody knows, really, said Slee. Apparently, it just showed up in the back one day. It's also rather useless since Twilight got her wings and it's slightly bigger too, added Scootaloo. Because this is a meme that started off for no apparent reason other than Twilight shows up in the back of Applejack's unneeded truck for a toy. And it's annoying. So, you got wings too. Doesn't mean you can't fly. You can't fly, commented Silver. There's some feeling the larger bad seed buried down on her with her sheer presence right back to read it. Oh, please, I'm sorry. After hanging around with Diamond for so long, it became a habit to make comments like those. Trying to break it, really. Yeah, it's cool, Scootaloo was shrugging. Besides, I can at least do this. The Earth Pegasus proceeded to jump in the air. Great strain, maintained a height of 5 feet off the ground for a few seconds by working her wings extra hard. Yeah, that's better than the last time, ain't it? Yeah, if I keep it up, I might be able to last a whole minute, speed Scootaloo. Mercy turned to Sandalwood. Hey, DJ, you know what WTR's coming when Applejack's coming back? Sandalwood pulled herself out from the truck, confused on her face. DJ? Who the heck is DJ? Scoot laughed. Sorry, don't know what I was thinking. For some reason, you struck me as a DJ. Do I look like Files Grants? Well, you do have the mean part, snickered Sweet. Sandalwood glanced up to see her mate somehow sticking up, like the famous DJ Pwn 3 do. Well, yeah, I'm still not letting you help so you can get your car right repaired at Cutie Marks. That's why you're forced sticking around. I know, asked Applebloom. Technically, you built this thing originally. I ended up setting off the events that led you to being a werewolf, didn't it? My sister did not turn me into a werewolf, growled Applebloom. Her face grew silent. At least, it might have been from her indirectly. We're still not sure. But she didn't willingly turn me, that's what you're thinking. Cuz? Interjected Bass, placing a hoof on her cousin's shoulder to calm her down. I think she means more this thing ended up crashing to the Everfree kind of deal, you know? Oh, right. Sorry. Apologized Applebloom. Things returning to normal. Sandalwood just shook her head, but her response to the simple-mindedness of the filly also get her mane back to usual. All things considered, this truck is good to go. I just hope it can handle whatever's going on. So do I, said Raspberry, who had appeared, also without Heliodor, at the opening of the barn. Mr. Brain, asked Lee, remembering the first things he noticed about the dark unicorn way back when. Heliodor's off doing his business, if you know what I mean. He's considered that way. He won't, on other ponies or their property unless he really dislikes them. Father went down Caroline. So, I'm guessing Blue Blood would be one of those ponies, joked Sandalwood. Nah, Blue Blood is reserved for me if he ever crosses my path again, answered Raz, adding a purposely fake evil cackle. You sounded like Diamond Tiara there. No offense, commented Silver, for Raspberry shouldn't have been there. Wait, I thought you and Princess Twilight were supposed to be researching stuff at Golden Oaks. We're technically on break. Well, I am at least. Twilight had flying lessons for Rainbow Dash schedule. You know how she is about schedules. Don't we? Said Philly simultaneously with Sandalwood, all innocent. Raspberry just smirked. Looks like I'm going to have a very interesting time in Ponyville. But I better explain why I'm here. Well, yes, interrupted Sandalwood. You want to ride in the truck. If that's okay. Vastly confessed Raspberry. A slight plus. Sandalwood rolls her eyes. All right, I'll pay it. I guess you Crusaders can hang out in the back of the truck later with Carly. Just don't fall out. Twilight would normally have been learning the first stages of advanced flight styles under Rainbow's wing. That was the original plan for today. Instead, she was going to learn how to be an emergency weather pony. Are you sure this is okay? Hollered Twilight, struggling to keep up with Rainbow's huge friend. It'll be fine as long as we don't get any closer from here, replied Rainbow. Like a brassness in her voice worried Twilight. Normally, it would have been near impossible to get Rainbow to resist the temptation to fly through a thundercloud. But this, Rainbow was in super serious mode. She was not confident that this was a safe thunderstorm that was forming above Everfree. Several Ponyfield wet Pegasi were already on the scene, maintaining their distance. I easily recognized several of them having been wonderful candidates back when Rainbow had been accepted there. Boss! Called out one pony and was immediately identified as Cloud Chaser. This thing isn't natural! Well, of course it isn't. It's an Everfree storm! No, this one is different, added Thunderling. We can normally manipulate Everfree storms. Doesn't stop them, but like the last one, but we can break it out to resource the force of town. So what's different about this one? Whatever causing this. There we go. Whatever causing this, it's not Everfree or Pegasus. The storm clouds are being held together with something other than water moisture. Even both monsters can't break the clouds. 3 Pegasus planes and Alicorn turned to see a muscular white Pegasus with Scootaloo-sized wings delivering an absolute flurry of punches and kicks at the cloud bank to form part of the slowly forming Thunderhead. The cloud bank absorbed it all like a sponge. Thunderlane then returned back to Rainbow. From what we can see, it's like a hurricane building up, though we don't know what all that visibility for the ground is to cut off. Probably going to hit Ponyville in a few days, tops. Rainbow turned to Twilight, worrying her eyes. Twilight, do you think this has anything to do with you-know-who? She whispered. Not one of the other weather ponies to know about matters that would lead to RD revealing she had a werewolf for a flatmate. Especially the one for the majority of the local weather ponies would love to tear their head off. We may need Raspberry's expertise. Since if Pegasus ponies like me and the others can't do squat against clouds like this, we're going to need some powerful magic that bends the rules of nature. I'll just see what she knows, replied Twilight. I'm honestly at a loss to explain this. Well, yeah, I need to study it further. Never change, Twilight Sparkle, chuckled Rainbow, happy to have something to laugh at while patting her friend on the back. Never change. The night was still for Silver Spoon. It wasn't thundering outside, but she could feel it in the tips of her fur. A storm was coming. Diamond, what have you gotten yourself into? Asked Silver into nothingness outside her bedroom window, hoping her former friend could somehow hear. I know you weren't kidnapped, but if you decided to be driven hard enough to go with Fair Fista, simply for petty revenge on a prank, it's madness. Nah, it's not madness, I'll tell you that much. Suddenly came the voice of Diamond Tiara. Silver swore her heart leapt high enough to launch her whole body 5 feet into the air. before coming back down and landing on the bed. In the dim light, all Silver could see was a shadowy outline, but there was no mistaking that headpiece. Silver, what the hell have you been up to? Demanded Silver. Not for using big punny words and trouble for it. This was serious. Preparations, my dear Silver, coolly explained Tiara, before getting closer to the bed. Preparations for what? Silver was growing concerned. Tiara was obviously keeping herself out of the light for a reason. Somehow being broken into a silver mansion without the private bodyguards noticing a thing. So backing out of her bed, she felt her foreleg go a bit wide to the right, making contact with half of her silver PFF bracelet. Suddenly rolled to the palm of her hoof behind her back. She was a silver lineage. She was a descendant of those brave ponies who sought to rid the world of monsters like werewolves. As she was going to go down because of werewolves, that she damn well was going to take one or two down with her. I was hoping to keep it a surprise. Now Dire's Shield started getting a little whimsical, as he was drunk or delusional, under some points to concern. You're not Tiara, are you? Screamed Silver. Her response forced as she found herself backed into a corner. Don't be silly, Silver. I'm still Tiara. A pink four-light came out to turn the blanket on. Only there was no hoof on which it slits when the light came on. I'm just learning to understand my enemy better. And the author that was nice enough to translate down at the bottom of the author's notes. Though the false crown is evil most strong, his legacy will eventually undo his wrong, as crystal blood will find solace in jade fire, and help the six prevent a resurrection most dire. When the last element finds in the town most quaint, full born of darkness with soul of a saint, all is lost if crystal should lose his fight, for the path of destiny hides itself from sight. But the descendants of the similar evil remain in light. They can stop the return of terrorist night, and end Sabra's curse to set everything right. But to stop the indulgence from intention's most mean, it is chaos who must seek the blood of green. What the heck is that supposed to mean? Stupid prophecies.